All right. I'm going to let people join up here on Facebook. The time is 8:40 and the mic is on. We're good on the Facebook there. 8:40 on Wednesday, March the 13th. We'll be talking this Facebook Live or streaming wherever you're watching, YouTube, on 3 News Plus, 3 News Now apps. We're starting this again, 8:40 Wednesday, March the 13th. And we've got a lot of changes headed our way over the weekend and into next week. It's going to be a hard forecast to put on paper and then just stick to it for the whole time. There's going to be a lot of changing variables as we progress through, especially the weekend and early next week. But we'll be talking about all of the things that will be influencing the changing weather that we do have headed our way. So got a couple hundred people on this. We'll get started, and I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can get to on the Facebook Live feed. That's where I can see real-time comments, and if I can answer them, I will do my best to do that. To right now, it's really humid. It's murky looking outside. There's fog that's trying to develop. But the wind speeds are pretty strong. They're 24 miles per hour sustained out of the southeast. And when you have wind that's blowing, at that pace, it's hard for fog to thicken up, especially away from the coast. I do think we'll have some fog in coastal areas overnight, but with the wind up around 15 miles per hour, I think it's going to be hard to see widespread thick fog move much farther away than the immediate coastal areas. So overnight, 70 degrees, that's going to be our overnight low temperature, and that's heading into the 14th, which is Thursday, Pi Day, 3.14 pi. And also if you flip that, it reads pi. If you see the reflection, 3.14. Anyway. Digression. Mild, humid, breezy tonight. The fog should be confined to the Gulf area bays and extreme coastal locations into Thursday morning. So I don't think we're looking at a huge widespread fog event. Winds too breezy, I think, to allow that to happen. And we do have a dense marine fog advisory. And also the barrier islands are included in that. So area bays, near shore waters, and the barrier islands, that's where the thick fog will be, and that's where it should stay overnight. A lot of this fog that we're seeing is sea fog, which develops over the Gulf, and then when the winds are lighter, those winds can bring that inland, and it can be pretty thick, but because, again, the winds are pretty breezy, I don't think we're going to have that problem into tomorrow morning. It is going to be cloudy, though, and temperatures right around 70 out the door, steady southeasterly breeze. The difference between tomorrow compared to today will be the cloud coverage. Today, lots of sunshine in the afternoon. Corpus Christi hit 88, mid-90s inland. And the heat index today got as high as 95 in Corpus Christi. So pretty warm. It's going to stay warm through the rest of the work week. With the clouds in place tomorrow, it will not be as warm, but still above average. Mid to low 80s in town, mid to upper 80s as you get inland. And then at the beach, mid 70s. And note the wind out of the southeast. Up around 25 miles per hour sustained. That's going to be a sustained wind value. So gusts easily into the 30 mile per hour range. Thursday night, overnight into Friday pre-dawn, I do see a little bit of light rain moving in from the southwest. It's not going to be heavy at that point, but I do think that it may dampen some roads a little bit. Thursday night, overnight into Friday morning, and then the better chances for rain arrive heading into the weekend. with a couple of cold fronts moving in and energy coming in from the south and west. I know we've got big events happening around St. Patrick's Day. The biggest of them probably is the block party, St. Patrick's Day block party downtown Corpus Christi. It's an all-day type of thing. I just started the forecast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and through midnight. We'll be in the 70s, cloudy, east breeze, and I do think that we'll have scattered showers in play. Now, scattered meaning that about half of the area does get rain. It's just going to be, it's a tough question to answer to say, yes, at People's Street in Chaparral, you're going to get a shower at 3:30 p.m. There's just no way that we'll be able to answer that at this point. So the takeaway is that there will be some scattered rain around. So I wouldn't be surprised if you got, a passing shower out at the St. Patrick's Day block party on Saturday, downtown Corpus Christi. That's how downtown looks right now. Again, it's murky looking, but I wouldn't call this dense, hazardous fog. It's trying, but the winds are breezy enough to suppress thick fog from developing. It's in the mid 70s. The dew point is sky high in the low 70s. And really the recipe for sea fog here is you get the Gulf of Mexico, which right now is in the upper 60s. So the water temperature in the Gulf in the upper 60s. You've got your air temperature and your dew point in the mid to low 70s. And when those two numbers are within about 5 degrees of the Gulf temperature on the plus side of it, so 5 degrees or so warmer than the Gulf, what starts happening is the air that's interacting with the water temperature in the upper 60s, right? That air starts to cool. And if it cools, 3 or 4 degrees, you start to get condensation happening. And that's where the fog starts to develop. So we're seeing that, but again, with the winds breezy, we're not going to see thick fog. We've got lots of stuff on our radar. Having fun with this graphic. So lots of influencers on the forecast heading into the weekend. Humidity, couple of cold fronts. One of them will become a stationary front, leading to rain. It's going to interact with all this humidity and a cutoff low, upper level low, well to our west. All of these things are going to have a play on the forecast heading into the weekend. So we'll get into that part now. Currently, there's a severe weather outbreak ongoing in the plains. So Tornado Alley, that's where the bad weather is tonight. It's close to where that low pressure center is, stemming southwest of the low, a cold front, and that front will be the first one to move into the region later in the day on Friday. So tomorrow, we talked about it, mostly cloudy, above average on the temperatures, plenty of wind, lots of humidity. Won't be till Friday later in the day that we start to have to pay more attention to the radar. Afternoon Friday, by the way, I think Friday in the daytime, all good. I don't think we have much to worry about Friday. But as we get into the nighttime, that front resting over the I-10 corridor, energy coming in from the south and west. We'll talk about that here in a second. It's possible that we see some showers and storms pop up Friday evening into the overnight time frame of Friday into Saturday with that front close to us. So that's possible. Could have some rumbles of thunder with that. I'm not ready to say, we're going to see anything stronger than your run-of-the-mill thunderstorm, but it'll be something that we're paying attention to for sure come Friday night. That front slides a little bit farther south on Saturday, and that's where it's going to stay through the day Saturday. So it'll be resting right over the top of us. It's a little boundary we've got the moisture, and when you have these things in the right places, you know, the boundary can act as a focal point for shower and or thunderstorm development. So because of that, got scattered rain in play on Saturday. And then I think the best chance for rain comes Sunday with the arrival of a second cold front. And this one will work through the entire state, really. And as it passes, I do think we catch more widespread rain. Behind the front, I don't think we'll have as much of a chance for thunder. Atmosphere will be a little bit less charged, but Sunday looks kind of rainy. Looks kind of like a rainy day. Temperatures in the 70s. Winds will be turning more northeasterly. Won't be overly cold, but Sunday just kind of looks to me like it'll be a rainy day. And this is the other thing that we're watching. As all that's happening in South Texas over the weekend, those two fronts, the stationary one, then the cold front, over the top of all of that, cutoff low over the desert southwest. So what that means is it's an upper level area of low pressure that has become detached from the main flow of the jet stream, and it's just gonna sit there for 4 or 5 days. So because of that, it sends in around the counterclockwise spin little pulses of energy 20,000 feet up in the atmosphere that can help tap into the energy at the surface to get showers going. The hard part about a cutoff low like this, an upper level low that's cut off from the atmosphere, is that you can't see upper level energy, you know, with your eyes. You just can't see it. We know it's up there because we can identify it with wind and all that, but you know, you just can't see it. So it's a hard thing to try and predict with respect to timing, location on the rain, unless you have a feature like a front that can focus the rain. So what I'm trying to say is that this is going to give us a period of unsettled weather with the fronts this weekend, and then into next week, it looks like it's going to hang out to our west, and that's going to prolong the amount of time that we get these little waves and pulses of energy into South Texas. So pretty much every day, starting Thursday night, we've got a chance for rain in the forecast, which is very spring of us to be doing this time of year. Friday, I think, you know, the daytime, all good, no worries. Evening comes around, that's when we're looking at the radar, seeing where that front is resting, and watching out for showers and or thunderstorms. I think Saturday, scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. Sunday, same type of deal, probably a little bit more coverage there. And then a little drop on Monday, but next Tuesday, with that low to our west, again, we are still going to be seeing these little waves of energy coming in from the southwest. So not ready to completely take out the rain from the forecast because of that. So that's why you're seeing that day to day chance for rain here in the coastal bend over the next 7 days. Totals, again, we're talking Friday through Tuesday or next Wednesday. So a 5-day rain episode where you've got a chance every day. Let's say we get a ½ inch of rain Friday night. Obviously, we're going to have to adjust the forecast at that point. You know, it's just the way it goes. But I think in general, these numbers are a good starting point. I try not to go, you know, all in huge rain totals. I'm not going to go out and cherry pick one model that says 10 inches of rain and then stick with it, right? I'm looking at a bunch of different data, lots of different models, and I'm just going with what I think is the most reasonable look at what is possible after looking at all that data. If you follow my Facebook page, I posted earlier today the GFS and the European model, the ensemble. So each of the models has many different iterations that it runs. So if the European's got 50 different versions of it, The GFS has 25 different versions of it, and all of them, all of the model, all the different iterations of the GFS and European ensembles throwing out rain for this part of the world this weekend and early next week. So, I'm confident we're going to have rain. The totals, they'll come, so we'll refine that as we get closer and after we see what has already fallen, we'll adjust that way. But we need the rain. This is not going to just bring us out of any water restrictions or anything like that. The reservoirs are below 30%. Corpus Christi's in stage 2 restrictions. We're not in a drought. The problem is strictly with the reservoir levels, Choke Canyon, Lake Corpus Christi. This will help, but it's not going to erase our problems. So it is what it is. It's not going to take away the water restrictions. It's not going to bump the lake levels sky high. We may see a 1% or 2% increase, but if we're looking to get out of the restrictions, this one episode is not going to be what does it. We need either a huge amount of rain to fall, like tropical rain in the watershed, or repeated events, many of them like this one, for the improvements to happen. With the rain, we're going to get cooler, way above average today, tomorrow, Friday. About 10 degrees above average, really mild at night, near 70, mid-80s in the day. And then it cools down a little bit over the weekend, seasonally cool into early next week. Temperatures in the low 70s, upper 60s in the afternoon, upper 50s by Tuesday or Wednesday morning. So it gets cooler, but I think it's going to be a little unsettled into early next week. Tomorrow, breezy, cloudy, warm, humid, mid to low 80s tomorrow. Average high for the date is 76. Okay, if you're going to the beach, high on the UV index. Even if it's cloudy out, you can still get burnt. So we just always encourage, wearing sunscreen if you're going to be out at the beach, even though it's going to be cloudier tomorrow. Rip current risk low, not zero. If you're trying to surf and you're doing it near a jetty, tends to be where the surfing's better, or where if you're by a pier, Horace Caldwell Pier over in Port Aransas, that's where rip current, the risk is a little bit higher. So just be vigilant. If you're out with friends, let them know you're getting in, so at least they know that you're in the water. You don't want to just be going out alone, especially if you're not a great swimmer. 73, mid 70s at the beach, water temperature in the upper 60s. And that's that play we were talking about for the sea fog development. The air temps within about 5 degrees or so of the sea surface temperatures. And that's why it's going to be, and has been, kind of coastal fogginess the last couple of days. Today got some sunshine, but tomorrow looks cloudier, southeast breeze 15 to 25, 2 to 4 foot waves at a 6-second period. And choppy, if not rough, on area bays and near shore waters. So we'll finish it up here with the 7-day, just about 9 o'clock on Wednesday night. And you see the rain chances there. This weekend, not the best. We have been treated to some really nice weekends as of late, but I do think we've got scattered rain, isolated storms, both Saturday and Sunday, and that even may start a little earlier on Friday night, then seasonally cool into early next week. So let's see if I can answer questions. Just looks like a bunch of commentary, which I love it. I love seeing your comments on Facebook. It's great. And it's just commentary, which means I must have answered all the questions that you may have had. So again, 9 o'clock right now. Oh, traveling to Waco tomorrow. How will travel weather be? Probably all good in Waco. From here to Waco, you can go back and look. I try not to get outside of the coastal bend, and I definitely don't do travel forecasts, on an individual basis, but see if I can answer that. Just I've got this graphic here. You'll see it's between here and Dallas or Waco, there's not a ton of activity, a few spotty showers, and that's going to be it, but nothing dangerous. All right, and if you've got questions about the forecast, you can either re-watch this. We answered just about everything with respect to our forecast that I know right now. You can re-watch it, or we've got this thing. It's called, what is it called, Rudy? A website. We do. We have a website that you can go to. You just have to go, take a keyboard, take one of these, and with your fingers, www.kiitv.com/weather. That part of the website is updated every single day, multiple times a day by our meteorologists in-house. Me, Carly, Kristen, Faith, we're all updating that thing. And that's where all of our thoughts live. So it's a great resource. I don't think we talk about it enough. Check it out. It's everything that I think about our forecast is written down with a video and graphics to supplement all of these thoughts. Everything you saw here, you can see there. So go back to the 7-day. I've got this nifty hot button on the clicker. It's like, I feel like I'm like Peyton Manning calling an audible. I can go right to the 7-day if I need to. And there it is. Unsettled this weekend, cooling trend into the weekend and early next week. Seasonally cool the first half of next week. Again, about to be 9:03 on a Wednesday night, March the 13th, 2024. If the time is not that when you're watching this, this is a recording and it's old, and we will be seeing you next time we see you on these platforms, or if you love it live on the air, 10 o'clock tonight. We'll see you then.